Hello, Taurus, and welcome to this, your February 1st through February 15th reading and predictions. For those of you who are new here, thank you so much for trusting and clicking on this video. And for those of you who are returning, thank you so much for continuing to support my channel. As you can see, the weather's changed a little bit over my shoulder here. I have got an umbrella instead of a winter jacket and winter boots. Yeah, we've moved into the rain. Life is always an adventure in North America in January and February, let me tell you. All right. Before we dive in, a couple of little notes. First of all, for those of you who are new here, I do not edit my videos. What you see is what you get. I expect authenticity if I consult with a tarot reader, a psychic, or a counselor. And so that's what I put out to both my private clients as well as my YouTube watchers. Also, stick around all the way until the end of this video. Many people reach out and say, I don't know what to do. Can you answer this question for me? And it's almost always a yes/no question. So at the end of this video, I will be pulling yes/no cards. So prepare your question. The last reading that I did for you, Taurans, was covering the time frame from January 15th through January the 31st. And the cards were indicating that you needed to get really, really clear on what it is that you want. That the universe was kind of doing a back and forth with you, going, oh, she wants it. No, she changed her mind. Oh, he wants, oh, all right. What do they want? Okay. If you don't have a clear picture or a clear vision of what you want to manifest, the universe is going to continuously get tripped up. It's going to, begin the path or the journey of lining up the energies in order to be able to bring you what you want. And then if you turn around and go, I'm going to go over here instead, the universe is it doesn't know which way to go. So eventually the universe just kind of leaves you, oh geez, and here comes the clairaudient. The spirit that comes in for clairaudience for me is cheeky, shall we say. So sometimes the way that the clairaudience comes into me is not always appropriate to come out of the mouth. But in this particular case, it is appropriate to come out of the mouth, but it's also really funny. If you're easily offended, you've been warned. All right. So if you're putting it out there that you want to go this way, Taurus, and the universe starts to line things up and you start seeing the synchronicities and you're going, yes, look, there's a squirrel. And you go running off over there. And if you do that enough times, what does the universe do? It puts you in a toilet bowl and just starts swirling you around because it doesn't know which way to go anymore. And you are receiving the universal swirly because you haven't given the universe a clear notion or a clear vision or a clear picture of what it is you want. So that was your message from last month. Let's move in. Let's dive in. The first deck that I'm being called to is over here to the Light Seers. Let's see where you are at now. See if you have managed to extricate yourself from the swirlies. The toilet bowl. See if you've managed to get a clear picture, clear vision of what it is that you want. All right, we do have two cards that came out. One of them landed in my lap. It would be the Four of Wands. Yes. And you also have the Queen of Pentacles. Beautiful. Interestingly, this is the second time that the Queen of Pentacles has jumped out today. And for the other reading, it was for something completely different. Their reading was going in a totally different direction, but it is fascinating to me when the same card comes out when we're working with 78 cards per deck. And I have I have 6 tarot decks sitting out here. Anyway, Taurus, Four of Wands. The Four of Wands is a card of celebration. It's a card of, yes, I have achieved. It is the card of community coming together. You'll notice that the picture on this card looks like Two people have gone to a music festival. You can see the big tent up here in the background. They've got a tambourine in their hands and they are dancing and celebrating. And it's about being part of a community. And it is about feeling like you belong in that place. So, in relation to what I was just saying about you needing to get a clearer vision on what you wanted to achieve, Taurus, this card is indicating that it looks like you may have begun that process of getting that really clear vision on what you want, where you want to go, which direction you're going to take. And in so doing, you've also found some community that's going to help you along the way and support you in your endeavors, which is beautiful. Which brings me to the Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles, of course, is the richest queen in the deck. She is very well grounded as she is ruled by the element of earth. But the Queen of Pentacles, she's a very generous queen. And the reason she's generous is because she has achieved. She has made her financial abundance. But the way that she's made her financial abundance is by having that clear vision of what she wants to achieve and she goes after it. Maybe not quite as much as the Queen of Wands, but absolutely because she is earthbound, bound by the element of earth, ruled by the element of earth. This queen is one who sees what she wants and she goes out and she gets it. She pounds the pavement and goes after it. So, good on you, Taurus. This is really, really great. Let's take a look at what you are focusing on going forward into February. Where are you putting your attentions? A little bit messy here. I was going to say without any jumped cards, and two of them jumped out right there. All right, one of them is on the floor. So let me grab that one. All the way down. That was a long way down. Okay, we do have the Five of Cups for part of what you're focusing on and the Strength card. All right, so the Five of Cups is a card. Let me just turn that off so that you can see the picture clearly. Five of Cups is the card of don't cry over spilled milk. You'll notice here that the character in the middle is facing these three cups that are spilled in front of him, and he is mourning the loss of these three cups, while right behind him he still has two filled cups. So this is a card of regretting something from the past and kind of mourning it, crying over spilled milk. As I mentioned, it's your brooding over something that you've lost. And really, this came up in what you're focusing on. So this is kind of a double whammy here in that not only does this card have slightly negative connotations in that you need to get out of this brooding or this mourning, but you also have this in your focus. So if this is what you're focusing on, guess what you're going to be manifesting? You're going to be manifesting more of this sort of dark figure who is in mourning. So let's move into the second card that you have in your focus, and this would be the Strength card. I'm just going to turn my light off for just a moment so that you can get the image of the Strength card here. Now, the Strength card has Leo the Lion on it, and in fact, it is ruled by Leo the Lion up here. And the Strength card reminds us that we are more powerful than we think we are. We have more strength within us than we think we do. So many of us doubt ourselves every day. We gaslight ourselves, not surprisingly that we have picked up that habit because, after all, society gaslights us, our teachers gaslight us for years in school, our parents gaslight us, religious leaders gaslight us, so it's not surprising that we gaslight ourselves. Am I right? We are stronger than we give ourselves credit for, and this is your reminder, Taurus. And it doesn't matter what the universe throws at you. Now, I am going to go out on a limb here. Given that you have the Five of Cups right next to the Strength card, what's coming up for me is that at some point in early February, the universe is going to throw you a curveball. And part of you, not all of you, but part of you is going to go, oh my God, how am I going to ever get through this? And then you're going to look at this reading. You're not just going to go, oh my God, how am I going to get through this? You are also going to go, oh, if things could only go back to the way they were that morning, right? So you're going to come back to this reading when the universe throws you a curveball, and you're going to say, wait a minute. The universe is not going to throw me something that I'm not ready to deal with. I need to hit the nail on the head. Oh, yeah. Queen of Pentacles energy, right? Queens and kings from this are about going out, going after what you want, and not allowing all of this other crap to get in your way. This card is your reminder. The universe isn't going to throw you something that you can't deal with. The only reason that you think you can't deal with it, Taurus, is because of the little voices chattering away. The voices of the past. Voices of the past. Put those voices to bed and embrace your strengths. You don't get to be an adult in this world without understanding that you are strong, and you are much stronger than you think you are. Hold on to that. Embrace that. All right, I'm getting called back over to the tarot to pull your difficult influences and challenges. Like, you need to hear that after what I just said. Oh, geez, that one's on the floor too. Now I have to uncross my legs and go and get it. Oh. If you hadn't noticed and you've been watching my videos for a while, you'll notice that I sit cross-legged. So when something does fall on the floor, I have to unravel myself and extricate myself from sitting in the lotus position. Okay. In your difficult influences, you have the Two of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles is about having to make a decision. It is about going back and forth on a decision. And being that it is the suit of Pentacles, the same suit as this lovely queen that you had early on, of course, this is earthbound, and this is about your money. Money, finances, job, career. This card in your difficult influences is indicating that you do have a decision to make, specifically related to money and finances or career, and that you're not wanting to make the decision. That's why it came up in your difficult influences. You're hesitating to make it. Why are you hesitating to make this decision? Well, let's go back over here to the Five of Cups. You don't want to hurt someone's feelings. You don't want to make someone feel bad. You don't want someone else to feel like they have some spilled milk that they're going to need to mourn. With the Strength card, Queen of Pentacles, and Four of Wands here, Taurus, the decision that you need to make, and this goes back to the preamble that I did for you before I actually started even pulling cards, and that is you need to make a decision, and once you've made a decision, Taurus, you need to stick with that decision and don't be waffling on your decisions. You need to stand in your strength. You need to stand in the power of the Queen of Pentacles, especially when it comes to your money. Be powerful. Make decisions that are best for you, even though you don't want to make this decision right now. I want to say that for some of you, the decision is about maybe not spending more money at this time, despite the fact that you want to. For some of you, this is about worrying about money, worrying about who has more, who has less, worrying about for some of you, this is about your taxes, possible tax bills. Um, what I'm picking up, so for some of the other zodiac signs, when difficulties with money have come into their readings recently, for a lot of the other zodiac signs, what's come up is they need to drop their attachment to material things and luxurious things and having the designer purse and the fancy clothes and the manicures and the pedicures and so on. For some of the other zodiac signs, that's what I'm picking up. For you, Taurus, I'm picking up that this is a very earthbound, real energy. This is very real concerns about money and finances, and it's not about you living high on the hog. Where did that come from? Clairaudience again. Thank you for the clairaudience. I appreciate it. It's not about you living high on the hog. It's not about you having all the finest and most gorgeous and everything else. Um, it's about you needing to make a decision about your finances that has real world implications. But this is indicating that you need to make the decision in your best interest, not someone else's, not somebody else's. Stand in your strength, stand in the queen, the energy of the queen, and make good decisions specifically for you. Okay. For some of you, this may be about someone borrowing money from you, someone who is not necessarily the most trustworthy and is not likely to pay it back. For some of you, you might be parents, and this isn't about this is about an adult child who continues to live off of your coin instead of theirs because they are the ones. If their zodiac sign is not Taurus, they are the ones that I'm talking about that are out there living high on the hog and buying the designer fancy clothes. And then they're coming to you, Taurus, and saying, Give me, give me, share. Why aren't they spending their money on food? How come they're walking around with $1,000 handbag and you're going, how am I going to buy chicken to feed both of us? Okay, that's some of what I'm picking up. That's what I'm talking about is you are very earth-based, realistic when it comes to your money. And there is someone around you who is not being realistic about money, and they are putting pressure on you. Okay. They spend in a way that you see as frivolous. And then they turn around and they go, oh, I don't have enough for real life survival. So watch for that. I do want to say for some of you, this might be about like a division of some kind, but ultimately, this is saying, Taurus, make financial decisions in your own highest interest, decisions that are for you. Now, disclaimer, I am not a certified financial advisor. I am not allowed to give you formal financial advice. The advice that I'm giving you is to look out for number one. Who's number one, Taurus? It's you. When you make decisions about your money, make sure you are putting yourself first and standing in your strength. I don't think that's formal financial advice. I think that that's good advice that we could give to anyone. It's pretty much common sense. So, messages the universe wants you to hear at this time, Taurus. Yeah. Nope, they didn't fall out. So, go through the deck a second time. What messages does the universe want Taurus to hear? Oh, okay. We got some cards out that time. They scrambled, and there's another one. Yes! All right, so the first two cards that came out, I can't see. The second one flipped right over, and I was able to see it. I'm going to read that one last because I'm excited about it. All right. Okay, Taurus, live your bliss. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Now, I'm not talking about just because you're earth based and you are trying to prove something to someone else, you should go out and spend all your money on, something that's frivolous. Live your bliss is about living your truth. When we live in our truth, we are in our bliss. And if your truth is making a tough decision about your finances, stand in your strength. When you stand in your strength, you are in your bliss. Let go of ego. I think you had this card last month. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure that you've had this card before, fairly recently. So let go of ego. Don't make this financial decision that you need to make, don't make it from a place of ego either. Strength is not ego. Strength is not ego. If you're not sure about that, I'm not going to dive into that here, but there are plenty of spiritual leaders, gurus, YouTubers, and so on that will talk about ego versus standing in your strength and standing in your power. So you might want to look up something like that. Now, the last card from Messages the Universe Wants You to Hear, and this is the one that I got really excited about when it flipped over because it's exactly what I was talking about. Taurus, don't relinquish your power. That doesn't mean that you need to come from a place of ego. It does mean that you need to come from a place of strength. This strength card that came out in what you are focusing on is probably the most powerful card in your reading today. Do not relinquish your power. Let's move into what is unexpected. Unexpected for Taurus. Oh, all right. We have cards flying out. There's a rooster crowing just outside my window. I'm not sure whether my microphone's picking it up. All right, so let's put these all together. This one and then this one. Okay. Okay. In your unexpected, we have the Nine of Cups. Nine of Cups is a very, very happy card in the deck. It is about finding your bliss. Look at the character on the card. Sitting there, they've built their sandcastle, they've piled up their 9 cups, their kitty is with them, and they are chill. They are meditating and they are in their bliss. They are live your bliss. Can't make it up. Anyway, 9 of Cups in your unexpected. This is a card indicating that you are going to find your zen during the first half of February. You ultimately will make this decision and you will be comfortable with that decision. That's going to lead you into the Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords is about a new beginning, starting something new. Now, the Suit of Swords is ruled by the mental mind, the intellectual. So this is an indication that you've come up with an idea in your brain and you're saying, I'm going to put this out there. I'm going to start something new. Look out, world. Here I come. Yay, Taurus. Now, once you put that out there, you do have the 10 of Wands coming in. Now, the 10 of Wands is a card. You'll notice that the character on the card is climbing up a hill and carrying, this is the everyday witch, so they're carrying their broomsticks, but in the traditional tarot, they're carrying wands, 10 wands, which are heavy and a bit of a burden. So whatever project you are putting out there, once you have achieved the zen, you've made your decision, you've achieved your zen, you're setting your mind to a new intention, It may feel some days like it's a little bit of a burden that you need to carry, but keep climbing up that hill. That's the message of that card. Because right next to it, you have the Ten of Pentacles. Interesting that you have a 9, a 10, and a 10 coming out here. Interesting that you had two tens come out right next to each other. The first 10 that you have here is about a burden. It's about having to carry a burden of, typically it's hard work, having to put in the effort in order to reap the rewards. And then you have the 10 of Pentacles right next to it. And the 10 of Pentacles is about, I have achieved. The image that's coming to mind for me is, when you see it in the movies and you have doors fly open and the doves go flying out and the angels start singing and they go, that's this card. This is a card of happy families. I have achieved my family life. I have reached a point of satisfaction. I've reached a point of comfort in my financial situation. The only way that you can be comfortable in your financial situation is to make decisions and stick with them. But this is a card of, I have sufficiently prepared for the future. I've set money aside, 401ks, RRSPs, if you're Canadian or American. I'm not sure what they're called in the UK or Australia or the EU, but essentially retirement savings plans. I've got money set aside. I'm feeling good about my life financially. I'm feeling good about my family situation. I'm feeling good about my house situation or my housing home situation. This is a really positive card, and it's really quite lovely the way that it's come out and the timing that it came out in your reading, Taurus. So let's move into general overall outcome, and then we're going to go into your yes/no question. So general overall outcome. Yep. Ah, that one did not land on the floor. It's sitting in my lap. Something that came up for me, Taurus, is if you're struggling against a decision that you need to make, you're wishing things could go back to the way they once were, and that decision involves money, and it involves perhaps a child, maybe an adult child or something like that. Sometimes when we put our foot down and we create a good boundary for ourselves, we can ultimately move into this place, this beautiful place from this 10 of Pentacles. Sometimes it improves our relationships with those around us, people who have been borrowing money from us for years. Sure, some of them will walk away when we put our boundaries down and we stand in our strength and we say, I'm not giving you any more money. We're not sharing finances anymore, whatever the case may be for you. Some of those people will walk away. We have to live with the consequences of that. For some of us, in due time, that's actually a good thing. And for others, there may be a temporary period where that person is mad because you have boundaries. And people who tend to rely on others don't like boundaries. But ultimately, when they recognize you standing in your strength, that makes you a better person, and then they want to be around you again. Okay, so in your final general overall outcome, you have two major arcana cards that have come out, both very powerful cards. I love this. In the tarot, we start at 0, which is brand new beginnings, and we're naive and we're starting a new soul lesson, and everything is kind of going our way. There is some naivety involved, so it is called the Dreamer or the Fool card. And we move up to the 21st card, which is actually the 22nd card, because remember, we start at 0. And It is about closing off a cycle or a soul lesson. And you have the number 20 card, and then you have the dreamer coming out as your final general overall outcome. The reason this is so exciting is that this card is indicating that you are on the verge, you are at the tipping point of ending a cycle, of ending a soul lesson, of saying, yes, I have achieved, I am done with this portion of the lessons that I need to learn, and I am on the cusp of being able to move forward. And then immediately following, you have the dreamer, which corresponds to the fool, which is about the new beginnings. Look at the character on this card. It is a fairy with the yellow brick road in front of her or him, and they are heading out on a brand new adventure. This card corresponds to the Judgment card in the traditional tarot. Why the Judgment card? And why would the Judgment card come up near the very end of a soul lesson? Because one of the things that we need to do right before we go into this renewal is we do have to have an exploration, have an examination within ourselves. What did I learn? What boundaries have I set and that I'm going to hold? What boundaries did I set that I really don't want to hold because they didn't serve my highest good? What did I do that was really, truly amazing that I want to bring forward into this new adventure? And what did I do or say that I have some regrets about that I need to change or shift within myself? So the Judgment card or the Renewal card is about sitting in judgment of ourselves. That's not always easy, Taurus. Not always easy, but it's powerful. So take time near the middle of February to really, really explore the life lessons that you've learned so that you are ready and prepared to move into this dreamer. All right, we are going into your yes, no question. This was a long reading. I apologize. I'm sorry. I didn't mean for it to be quite this long. Okay, ask your question that requires a yes, no answer. You may wish to close your eyes, pose your question several times in your head, in your mind. We need a yes or a no for Taurus, please. Yes or no for Taurus. Nope. There we go. Who was that card? Huh, interesting. All right. Taurus, here is your answer. Choose a new direction. You know what? You are choosing a new direction because you got the Fool and the Dreamer as the last card of your reading. And so it's fascinating to me that you ended up with choose a new direction in response to your question. Get out there, Taurus, live your bliss, and don't relinquish your power. Thank you so much for being here. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. If this video resonated deeply for you, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing. It really, really helps the channel to grow. Please allow me the honor of doing your next reading in the middle of February. And if you are interested in having a private consultation, the details are down below.